We made it through the seeding games in the bubble. No one got COVID, thankfully, so it's time to look back on the most memorable moments before the intensity ratchets up for the playoffs. We've got a bunch of clips to go through, and I'm going to break them down so you can get the real story of what's been happening on the court. So let's share the hookah with Luka. We've got a looker from Booker, bombs away with TJ, and the Blazers' incredible climb because of Dame time. When the Bucks and Mavericks hooked up, the headline was Luka versus Giannis, and they did not disappoint. It was Luka who turned in a game for the ages, single-handedly making sure the Mavs outscored the Bucks for the win. Brook Lopez's rim protection was a big reason the Bucks defense will go down as an all-time unit this year. Luka seemed to target him in the pick and roll, however. Notice how low Brook sinks to invite the mid-range pull-up, but Luka isn't biting, instead doing a rondo with the behind-the-back pass fake. Notice the left foot is down when the dribble ends, so he's got a legal 2 steps afterwards. This gets Brook out of the way, and Luka's got the size to finish among the bigs. Coming around this handoff screen, Lopez is left by himself on an island, and look at this perfect jump stop shot fake, which allows him to pivot with either foot, and he's also allowed to lift the pivot into a jump, getting him well beyond the defense for another layup. He also tortured Lopez on the weak side as well when the Bucks tried to get away with putting him on Dorian Finney-Smith. Check the lefty hook pass 30 feet like a laser right on the numbers for another corner 3 assist. The worry about the Bucks defense is how they are willing to collapse in the supreme effort of walling off the rim to dribble penetration. But when you have someone with the vision of Luka, you're not just going to give up 3-pointers this way. We're talking layups, people. Layups. Finally, Lopez does a nice job to contain and take away Luka's shot in the lane, but it's Doncic's gravity that sucks in the rest of the defense's focus. Giannis loses track of KP, who unceremoniously hammers one all up in Brooks' face. And in overtime, Luka gave us this all-timer, the audacity to go through the legs on a pocket pass for the Kleba dunk and one as the first nail in the coffin. I mean, let's just look at this again. And I know Harden does this a lot too, but let's just celebrate both of these incredible players, okay? And to seal in his practice, they run a guard-to-guard pick and roll, very well defended initially as Bledsoe recovers, but Luka is so tall, he can get any kind of shot off he wants in the lane, even over Giannis, as the teardrop floater gets the Mavericks a much-needed win. Let's move on to the Phoenix Suns, who ran the table in the bubble, but sadly it wasn't enough considering they had the worst record to start. But it gives Suns fans a lot of hope that this young core can begin to turn things around. Even Cameron Payne had some highlights, which was a total surprise considering he was just picked up for the bubble games. He displayed the ability to hit the deep ball both off the dribble and in spot-up situations, plus he could operate the pick and roll competently and make the right pass to set up good shots. I have no idea what their plans are as they've got a team option on him for next year, but after this showing, I imagine they'd bring him back. And keep your eye on Cam Johnson. He's got good size, can shoot the ball from deep, and can attack the basket from the wing. The future is bright for the Suns, but the only issue is that they're in the West, which somehow gets tougher and tougher each year. But the key to overcoming how tough it is in the West is to make sure you're grooming properly. I'm convinced the Lakers and Clippers have the best shot at winning a title because they're keeping it under control down under. And that's where Manscaped comes in with their all-new Lawnmower 3.0. Just click on the link below to order Manscaped now. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun to use, it's waterproof, has a built-in light to help you see, and it won't nick your balls. Use my code BREAKDOWN20 to get a whopping 20% off your order plus free shipping. I'm a subscriber and you should be too, so you can get a free travel bag plus their patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. You want to talk about helping your jump shot? Throw a pair of these on and start swishing. And when we examine how well TJ Warren did in the bubble, there are very few explanations other than maybe he started keeping it trim and fresh down there, enabling his balls to go in the hoop more frequently. He destroyed the Sixers defense for 53 points, most notably against Ben Simmons, from a variety of shots. He started out catching Simmons hung up on the ball screen as he hopped into the 3-ball out top. And because of his absolutely blistering 3-point shooting in the bubble, at a much higher rate than earlier in the season. It opened up drives for his patented floater game in transition. This set is designed for a double staggered pin down and a catch near the left wing. Watch Simmons top lock this to take away the cut, forcing Warren to go backdoor instead. All was fine until Simmons didn't sprint back to recover with any urgency, allowing the pass down low and the easy step through for the layup. At this point, the defense has got to know you cannot go under the ball screens on him. Yet, with his pistol action, Simmons does exactly that, and TJ Warren likes to utilize the hop for a quick release and great rhythm off the dribble. Perfect. Here's that same double pin down for Warren on the left side. Simmons defends it the same way, and this time it's McConnell who makes the pass earlier, right by Horford's ear, and Simmons never had a shot to stop it. Now that they let him heat up, Simmons forces him to the left on his screen, and does a decent job to contest this shot in the air, but it's too late. The damage was done by letting him get into big head mode, and it's another triple to extend the lead late. In case you were wondering why Simmons didn't want Warren to use those two staggered screens on the left side, here's why. He makes the catch at full speed, Embiid is concerned with the roll, and we get another of his patented 2-foot floaters from the free throw line to just about ice the game. The Sixers hung tough and had a chance, but the Pacers opted to not attack the young Matisse Thybulle, who was guarding Warren, instead forcing the switch so Holiday could attack him. However, after all the buckets TJ had made, it's unfathomable that Ben Simmons would help one pass away like this, especially when help wasn't needed. This gives just enough room for Warren to release it and end the game, putting everyone on notice that these Pacers are going to be a very tough out in the playoffs. And speaking of tough outs, that brings us to the Dame game. Well, there were a few of these in the bubble, but let's look at his 61-piece against the Mavericks, which is a must-win that helped propel them to the playoffs and their first-round matchup against the Lakers. Oh, by the way, stay tuned for tomorrow as I preview that series. There's a reason why Lillard was chosen NBA Player of the Seeding Games and all Seeding Games first team, and it's because he's quite simply a bad man. One key to his game is how quickly he can get into his jump shot once it's in his hands, either off the dribble or on a catch. Here, they run horns with him in the corner, and when he comes around Whiteside, his man can't hit the brakes fast enough, bumps him, yet he still hits the shot, with the refs missing the foul call. But the key to his big night was Kristaps Porzingis. Even though KP had 36 points of his own, it barely made up for all the points he helped Dame score on the other end. The Blazers relentlessly ran pick and rolls with Porzingis' man, and they were rewarded handsomely almost every time. If you're wondering why KP was willing to give Dame so much space to hit these threes, and make no mistake, this is a ridiculous amount of room that amounted to practice shots for Lillard, it's because the alternative was so much worse for him. You might need to avert your eyes on these possessions because, from a defensive standpoint, it wasn't pretty. When setting the ball screen several feet above the three-point line, it gives more room for Dame to get going top speed, leaving KP completely in his dust. But he didn't need a long runaway either, as it's just not a fair fight when creating a foot race between these two. But Porzingis isn't doing himself any favors trying to do defensive slides with a hand up like this. He'd be better off turning and running and using the swing of his arms up from waist height in order to be more explosive. Late in the first half, they get a downhill attack on him, but needed Nurkic to run some interference first. This time, while on the left side of the floor again, they angle the screen to attack the middle, and we see evidence of KP turning and running, but it looks like he's a ballerina on ice skates as Dame gets creative points for the twisting outside hand reverse. But it wasn't just the buckets. Dame got 18 free throws and attacked his same left side pick and roll several times, drawing fouls on Porzingis, as well as his utter frustration at the futility of trying to stop such a bad man. Deep in the fourth, down 3 points, they target Maxi Kleber instead, and I'm sure Carlisle was happy to see anybody but KP involved at this point. He does a decent job to contain the drive, but at the expense of giving him 5 feet of space. Watch the hard left-hand dribble synced with the right foot jab, then the quick gather while stepping back left-right into the deep shot. He had plenty of room to get it off and swishes it for the tie. Again, down by 3, the Mavericks opt to double him after the pick and roll, a great choice to get it out of his hands. However, with the shot clock winding down, he gets it back about 40 feet from the basket. Before Luka can double him again, he just rises up, but look at this ridiculous bounce. I mean, a shooter's roll isn't the right description for this. No one has ever seen a ball bounce 23 feet high off the back rim and still fall through the iron. and Dame gets them the lead for good with this ISO on Doncic. Middle drive that forces the help from Kleba, and the nice bounce pass for the Whiteside finish. And that, sports fans, are a few of the best moments the bubble had to offer during the play-in portion of the schedule, as all these teams have shown that they're regaining their rhythm and flow, and will no doubt have a ton of games as memorable as what we saw the past 2 weeks.